welcome to today's edition of Rapid TV's continuously evolving socio-political general interest show, KORERO. Of course, I am your regular host, Nkamian John, the beloved, also known as the controversial. I know a lot of people in recent times have been saying, John, we're beginning to see that controversial side of you. You subtly throw it out there in most of your commentaries. I want to say thank you to for the comments that have been coming, the support, and those who've been following developments on the show. And today on the show, we are looking at recent developments in Rivers State. Did I hear somebody say, aha, finally? They are talking Rivers State. Well, we were coming to it. We were coming to it. We just had to take the issues as they arose, right? So, tensions have continued to rise following last Saturday's local government council elections. As far as Rivers State is concerned, there's been all kinds of reactions and counter reactions. I think the most latest is the reaction of the FCT minister, who happened to be the former governor of the state in the person of Nyesom Wike, but we'll get to that. So just to remind you, as I always do, it's a tradition that the show is live and interactive on all our social media platforms. We are streaming live on our website, www.rbnradiotv.com, on Facebook, and of course on all our social media platforms. And what that does, it affords you the opportunity to be part of the show, follow developments on the show, and also contribute to conversations on the show. Of course, the studio lines will be live and active during the course of the show. We'll put the lines out there, so even as my guest and I have this conversation, because I know that the subject of Rivers State is one. It's just like the American elections, where California is always a major deciding factor in the elections. Rivers State, as far as the South is concerned, is a major hub. So anything that concerns Rivers State, and let's not forget, Rivers State is more or less like the capital of energy when you talk about oil-rich South. So Rivers State is like the headquarters. Anything that affects Rivers State more or less affects Nigeria at large. Okay, so remember, we are at official Rapid TV. That's our handle. Like I like to say, even when the show is off the air, the conversation continues online. So be part of our growing online community simply by liking and following Rapid TV on Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, also known as IG, LinkedIn, and even on TikTok. So let's get down to the conversation this morning. Now, the result of the local government elections, which took place last Saturday in Rivers State, clearly shows the triviality of our political party architecture. Now, this is part of the conversation I've been having with my guest, I think 2 days ago, and even this morning, as before the show came on, that a lead representative can, in a real sense, commandeer people into a party platform and deploy it to a major electoral triumph in a short period, communicates a lot about the irregularities of our party politics and the shortfall of genuine democratic culture as far as our great nation Nigeria is concerned. Now, it likewise shows the charade, as you choose to call it, that local government elections have become in our nation, Nigeria. That kind of explains why, for a while now, the third tier of government has been made moribund or irrelevant until the Supreme Court judgment. And of course, despite the fact that it is evident that the third tier of government is an essential part of our governance structure as put forward by the 1999 Constitution as amended. In any case, the words of former President Goodluck Jonathan comes to mind, that the lingering political crisis in Rivers State is a case for serious concern for everyone and anyone, especially lovers of democracy and all actors within the peace and security sector of our dear nation, Nigeria. Now, Rivers State has been overwhelmed in crisis since last October. So, just to remind you that it didn't start with the local government election. Since last October, after some lawmakers loyal to the Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Nyesom Wike commenced impeachment proceedings against Governor Similaye Fubara. The power tussle between the governor and his predecessor and former godfather has since divided the 31-member assembly into two combating groups. That development led to the bombing of a section of the state assembly complex. Meanwhile, Fubara has invested a large portion of his time in office buried in political survival at the expense of his administration and the development of the state. Likewise, former governor and FCT minister Nyesom Wike has invested more energy on the politics of Rivers State than on his primary assignment in the FCT. Before last Saturday's local government election, the All Progressive Congress APC in the state had secured a judgment from a federal high court in Abuja limiting electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), from releasing voters' register to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. Now, the judgment likewise limited the Inspector General of Police (IGP) Kayode Egbetokun from providing security for the elections, yet referring to a judgment of the Supreme Court which requested that democratically elected officials should oversee all the local government elections, governments in the nation, and a judgment of the Rivers State High Court. Fubara demanded that the elections must be held. However, the police pulled out in the guise of obeying a court order. The elections took place in a largely peaceful climate and winners were declared. Now, the local government elections, which saw the Action People's Party APP winning 22 seats and the Action Alliance AA securing 1, were overshadowed by the pullout of the police, the People's Democratic Party PDP, and the All Progressive Congress APC. Now, the chairman of the People's Democratic Party PDP Governors Forum, Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, was at the event of the swearing in of the newly elected officials on Sunday, after which some of the council leaders were targeted by violent mobs as they assumed office, and several secretariats across the state were touched by political opponents. One such incident is seen in a video that surfaced on X, formerly known as Twitter, the microblogging platform, showing gunmen shooting as the purported Ikwere local government chairman moved to the council's premises in Rivers State. Let's give you that video.
May the compound council. Euro. We don't cancel. We don't cancel. We don't cancel. Chairman, don't cancel. We don't cancel. May they come. May they come. How many they there? Who be that? Who goes that? Who goes that bagger? Who goes that bagger? Who goes that bagger when they come to challenge for economical government? We there. May they come out. May they come out. Chairman there. Chairman don't come. Wow. We don't cancel. The local government has been taken over officially. Local government today. Calabo. Wait them. Chairman don't come out. Oshimini one day. Oshimini one. May they come sit down. Council. May they come.
That was a video that surfaced on X, the microblogging platform, showing gunmen shooting as the purported Ikwere local government chairman, Israel Abosi, moved into the council's premises in Rivers State. Well, on X, the quote or the post was, and I quote, "Chairman of Ikwere local government, Israel Abosi, retakes control of the council. Supporters of Nyesom Wike should apply to be an athlete in the next Olympics. They met their match and took to their heels. Cowards. Nobody has a monopoly on violence." End of quote. Violence broke out in at least 4 local government areas within Rivers State, where parts of the secretariat buildings in Eleme, Ikwere, and Emoha were set on fire by political thugs. Now, gunfire, as you saw in that video, also erupted in Ahoda East as the newly elected council officials faced fierce resistance on Monday. Now, the chaos followed the withdrawal of police officers stationed at the 23 council secretariats, leaving the premises vulnerable to attack. 5 people were killed and over 3 local government secretariats were burnt in what could be described as a post-election violence that erupted in Rivers State after political thugs allegedly loyal to the FCT minister protested the outcome of the local government elections in the state. So if you're just joining us, just to let you know that this is Rapid TV's continuously evolving social, political, and general interest show, KORERO. Today on the show, we are looking at recent developments in Rivers State, South Nigeria, where tensions have continued to rise following last Saturday's local government council elections. And in response, President Bola Tinubu, through a statement by his spokesman, Bayo Onanuga, called on Governor Similaye Fubara, political leaders, and their supporters in Rivers State to exercise restraint and uphold the rule of law. Now, the president expressed deep concern over reports of arson and explosions in the state and urged all political actors to from engaging in violence or destructive actions. President Tinubu directed the police to restore and maintain peace, law, stressed that self-help has no place in a democratic system, especially after 25 years of continuous democracy. According to President Tinubu, the judiciary can settle all political disputes, and the outcome of this election should be no exemption. Well, reacting to developments in the state, former governor of Rivers State and current FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, who has been fingered, kind of, in all of this, has accused his successor, Similaye Fubara, of sponsoring the Action People's Party, APP, in the just ended local government elections in the state. Wike also blamed Governor Fubara for disobeying a court order, an action he said has led to the breakdown of law and order in the state. Wike condemned Fubara's stance, stressing that refusing to uphold the rule of law would plunge the state into disorder. Let's hear FCT minister and former governor of the state, Nyesom Wike, as he fielded questions on a political program on television, courtesy of Channels TV, and as he states his position on recent developments in Rivers State.
I don't care about it. I don't care about it. In that case, who is the perpetrator of that violence? Who?
Are you blaming the governor for the violence that...
It is not about blaming. Governor is the architect of the violence.
But you have been blamed. Your accusing fingers have been pointed at you.
No.
There are those... I mean, if you heard some of the social media videos that came up, and those who are saying, no weekend, no rivers, and those who are destroying the property, and well, there are people, there are faces, and these are those who are called the pro-Wike supporters in Rivers State.
So
that have been pointed out and to have caused that mayhem yesterday.
You saw them causing the mayhem?
Destroying the properties,
No,
things.
What I'm saying, you saw them causing mayhem.
Yeah, they're caught on tape.
They're caught on tape.
I mean, you will see some of them. You see some of those, their faces, where they are smashing tables.
No. The point is, those faces you saw smashing are those who are my supporters.
Those who were chanting were the ones who would say, no weekend, no rivers.
How will I go to my business? You saw me, I was in Abuja. I never went to anywhere.
But if your supporters have been linked to an event like that, what would you say to them?
If I know my supporters, I will condemn it. I'm not
Are you able to condemn what happened yesterday? Because some of those who were said to have matched those venues were those who were said to be your supporters who were saying no weekend, no rivers.
See, let's not change the narrative. What was said is this. Yeah, Governor said people do not want to obey the rule of law, obey all law and order. What is law and order? What are people saying? Obey court judgment. Listen, so that we don't change the narrative. Obey court judgment. All of you presented yourself to the court. All of you brought your legal representation, your lawyers, senior advocates of Nigeria. And the matter was argued. And the court came up with judgment that by my own view, by my own opinion, I think this is what is supposed to be done. And therefore, I hereby say, you should do this, you should do that. Fine. That's called judgment. We want order. You heard the president say, the judiciary can settle all political disputes. And those who want to call, what did they do? For judiciary to settle disputes. And you came out as a governor to say, no, this is a fraudulent judgment. Accuse the judiciary of being fraudulent. I will not obey this judgment. I will not. I will go ahead and do what I'm trying to do. In that case, who is inviting violence? Who is inviting anarchy? You heard him say, our state is turning to where people do not want to obey law and order. What is law and obeying of law and order? Obey what the court has said. This country is a country where you see people trying to use opportunity, because Wike is here. I have a grouse against Wike. I want to settle that grouse. This is the only way I can do it. You forget that it's not about Wike. It's about society. It's about state. It's about our nation. If today a court gives a judgment, not an order, a judgment, and say, look, this is what to be done. You have gone on appeal. You went on appeal, which means you are aware that there was a judgment against this, and you have gone on appeal. You don't want to be patient to follow the due process. Let appeal come up to say this and that and that. He came out of national television and said, I will not obey. It's a fraudulent judgment. I have never seen that in my life, where anybody can come out because judgment is against you or it's not in your favor. You attack an institution to say it's fraudulent. It's not only, look at just what has happened. INEC said, we will comply with the court judgment. What did they do? That the REC, the Resident Electoral Commissioner, who acted on behalf of his office, he should be removed. Why? Because he said, look, we are going to comply with court judgment. Police said, look, we are party to this suit. The court has taught us, and therefore, we are going to comply with judgment. He said, no, get out. I don't care. You don't need to. DSS was stopped. I said, look, you don't do this. We are not in a lawless society. And I feel so bad today. Nigerians, I hear a lot of people who say, nobody should derail democracy. Let us ask ourselves, who is derailing democracy? Who intends to derail democracy? Is it the man who said law and order, judgment of court should not be respected? Is it the one promoting democracy? All of us today are saying, I have heard former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, I've heard former President of the Goodluck Jonathan saying about the derailment of democracy. Atiku said, oh, I praise forward.
Former Rivers State Governor and current FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, of course, accusing his successors, Similaye Fubara, of sponsoring the Action People's Party, APP, in the just concluded local government elections in the state, and blaming Governor Fubara for disobeying a court order, which he said has led to the breakdown of law and order in the state. Meanwhile, Governor of Rivers State, Similaye Fubara, has set up a judicial commission of inquiry into the arson, killing, and destruction of properties at some local government area councils' headquarters. Now, some yet to be identified hoodlums had on Monday attacked some local government area secretariats, burning and attacking staffs on site. The violence came barely 24 hours after the swearing in of new council bosses following Saturday's election. The constitution of a judicial panel was made known in a statement on Tuesday by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Tammy Wenike Danagogo, with members sworn in that same Tuesday at the Executive Council Chambers, Government House, Port Harcourt, at about 4 p.m. It's still Rapid TV's continuously evolving social-political general interest show, KORERO. And as you may have realized, we are looking at developments in Rivers State, South Nigeria, where tensions have continued to rise following last Saturday's local government council elections. Joining me live in the studio to discuss these developments is a political analyst, a man of many parts. In fact, from the first time we met and we began to discuss politics, and particularly River State politics, we connected on a totally whole new level. It's my pleasure to introduce Dabo Kiagbo Walmate. I hope I pronounced it Yeah, and well, mate, it's great to have you join me on the show this morning.
Yes.
Thanks for making out time to be on the show. So, without wasting much time, now let's start with the statements of the former River State Governor and current FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, accusing his successor, Similaye Fubara, of one, having sponsored the Action People's Party, APP, in the just concluded local government elections, and blaming the governor for disobeying a court order, which he said has resulted to the breakdown of law and order that we have witnessed since Monday in Rivers State. How do you react to the FCT minister's statements?
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. I want to start by saying that I condemn anything that is associated to violence and seriously condemn what has happened, the violence that has taken place this week so far in Rivers State. I will say that now the former governor and president minister of FCT has talked about the governor, Similaye Fubara, sponsoring APP. Yes, the governor did that. In fact, there is, it has been alleged in some quarters that the governor bought the party, or it was leased to him.
Are there any evidence to really show?
The party was leased to the governor at a price of about $1 billion or so from Ogochiri. He's a contractor to the governor. He's the one, if you look, there have been local government election in Imo State, the home state of Ogochiri. But he has never made, not even release a press statement, how much more a live press conference. And you know, you're in the media, what it costs. Tens of millions to organize a live press conference. And he has not organized one, not two, not three, several live press conferences. So that tells you that the governor and Ogochiri is the founder and the one that registered the APP as a party, a briefcase party that he registered to use to also. And the governor bought into that and used that party at the expense of his party. And that is why the former governor is saying that the present governor sponsored APP. Yes, that is the truth. The blind can see it.
Now, should the conversation be about whether Fubara sponsored APP, or should it be more about the fact that His Excellency, former governor of Rivers State, current minister of the FCT, has become somewhat of a controversial figure in the PDP. He has been a cause of dismay in the party. He has been ever since he lost his presidential bid in the presidential primaries of the PDP in the build-up to the 2023 elections. He has become somewhat of a rebel rouser in the PDP. So how, even in Rivers State, the PDP, since he left and became left office and became FCT minister, there hasn't been any solidity as far as the PDP is concerned in Rivers State. What we have seen is rather the APC gaining grounds under the pretext that, yes, the former governor is still in the PDP, but working for an APC administration. So isn't he the one that should naturally be responsible for everything that has turned out the way it has turned out, not leaving his successor with much of an option to trust? Because, I mean, let's look at the build-up to the local government elections. The PDP pulled out. The APC pulled out. Yes. Other parties decided to run for the election, and winners were declared. So, who is to blame?
Well, I want to disagree with you that the FCT minister and the former governor of Rivers State is behind whatever that is happening, or is since he lost the 2023 presidential primaries, he has changed. No, that is not correct. He made his position clear. Let me start from there.
Okay.
That PDP follow your constitution. Follow the constitution, as simple as ABC. fairness, equity, and justice. And he delivered the party to prove that he's a party man. He delivered the party from the assembly to the governor to the National Assembly, from state assembly to the governor to National Assembly. But he disagreed with the party on the issue of the presidency be zoned to the south. That was it. Now, coming to Rivers State. Rivers State, he has been there as the leader of the party, and he has supported the party. And I tell people, whoever that cares to listen, that it is not in the constitution of PDP. There is no word in the constitution of PDP that says or allocate to anybody leader of the party. It is a practice just to massage the ego of our governors, just to appreciate those of them that are responsible enough to take responsibility of the party affairs in the state. So the governor has failed to take responsibility. And I've told people that when you fail, you being a leader, it's not the position you occupy, but the responsibility you accept is what makes you a leader.
So basically, you're placing the blame at the doorstep of Governor Similaye Fubara.
Yes, he is. He has not taken responsibility. And he's saying that, talking about this local government election, your own party is not contesting. And you are going into...
But he came out to say
and he's going into election.
He was going to be the greatest loser.
No. That tell you, that is to confirm what the FCT minister said, that he is the one sponsoring. How do you know that you'll be the greatest loser?
No, I mean,
when you know that you are going for election, when you are going for election, that you are not, your party is not participating.
Exactly.
Why not? You wait. In fact, there is a court judgment that you can rely on to wait and sort out whatever you needed to be sorted out. There is a court judgment, and Federal High Court has said, look at it. INEC don't release voters register. And now from Rivers State, I can tell you what happened there. Before now, I've said it in one platform. When they came to interview me, I told them, I said, what will happen? I saw it before now. There is coronation, not election. What took place in Rivers State was coronation. And that's why some people reacted that no, if you want to conduct election, follow due process. That is what the court said. Follow due process, collect the updated register of INEC, organize primary. They didn't organize primary. It was in government as they stayed and pick people. The APP constitution, I've read it. You must, 3 months to the election, you must be a member of the party and not a member of another party. Only that APP. And you must be up to date with your financial obligation to the party.
Those are rules that cut across virtually every political party.
But when did these people join the APP? That is the first question. This local government chairman, there's even a court judgment that has declared the candidates of those APP, the chairmanship candidates, and even the state chairman, that they are not declared them that they are
not legitimate
yes,
members
they are not
of the APP.
Yes, and that judgment was not obeyed. The federal government judgment was not obeyed. So why do you are saying that you are blaming other people for your own fault? If you want peace, obey the rules. As simple as that. And your party is not participating. You decide to go ahead with this saying that the Supreme Court gave a deadline. If you cannot, you see when Supreme Court gave the deadline, you would have done plan. You ought to campaign. When did they campaign? No notice. Based on the Rivers State, not even Electoral Act alone, based on the Rivers State RESEC law, you ought to give notification, announce notification 19 days to the election. That was not done. There are a lot of irregularities. That's why I said it's a coronation, not election in Rivers State. And that's why people were not happy, in as much as I condemn violence.
Now, that's where I'm going to.
Yes.
In as much as you have pointed out these loopholes, but is that enough reason for certain political supporters, regardless of who they support, to take to arms and turn this and create mayhem within the state?
And that's why I've said I condemn totally, vehemently, the violence in Rivers State. And I want to urge every Rivers citizen and resident to desist from violence and follow the law. And that is what, if you don't believe in the judgment, why did you appeal it? The governor appealed the judgment. That means he believes in the judgment. It was not an order. It was a judgment. And we know that it is a judgment. So if you know that it's a judgment, why do you disobey it? And you have appealed it, and you went ahead with the election. No, now, it's not done. The governor knows that what he did was wrong. That is the simple truth. And people are commending him. You have done well. You have done well. When I saw that of the former vice president, I feel saddened because you went as far as inferring that this is a rejection of some certain persons like the former minister of FCT. If that is the case, the minute the former vice president has been rejected 6 times by his own party under SDP, under APC when he decamped from PDP, under PDP. And after that, he has also been rejected by Nigerians. In 2007, when he contested under ACN, in 2019, and in 2023. PDP has never had the poorest result we had under him. Even as they did not betray Jonathan in PDP, Jonathan did not score below 12 million votes. But imagine the vote, 11 million in 2019, 2023, 6 million. And we are saying that they rejected, instead of calling the parties together and resolve the problem or say the truth, because the governor did not follow the due process. That is the issue. If not, there is no issue. If the due process in Rivers State is followed, there will be no issue. Follow the court order.
But are you inferring that prior to the local government election, because we are talking about the local government,
yes, it's the local government election.
It's the most recent of development.
Yes.
Now, as I said in my introduction to this conversation, the problems of Rivers State didn't start on Monday.
No, it did not start on Monday.
It started from October.
Yes.
Shortly after Simi Fubara tried to settle down into office, the state lawmakers started impeachment process. Are we saying that there is no power tussle in Rivers State?
No, there will be power tussle. Everywhere there is power tussle. In fact, in one of, when I appeared on one of your sister station, I told them, I said, some of the leaders in the state addressed press conference. They were supporting the governor, but behind them, the banner there is stating PDP and Atiku. But they were declaring their support for Tinubu. And the statement was that politics, the time for politics is over. I totally disagreed with it. I said there is no time. Any society that you see politics is over in that society has gone on extinction.
But what?
It's campaign that is over. So you cannot declare support for the APC president. And you are claiming that you are supporting the governor. And you are calling the FCT minister is doing anti-party. If you are coming to equity, come with clean hands. Because already with that statement, you have done anti-party. That is the issue. So the local government issue, the issue of that local government in Rivers State election is the failure of the governor to follow due process from the emergence of the candidate, of the party the candidate is sponsored in APP. I wonder those that are the minders of the governor, what they think, what they do. Because the governor is not a politician. It was by the, providence of God and the goodwill of the former governor that he became governor.
His political godfather.
His political godfather, which he has acknowledged. But those that have been in politics that are around him, what do they think? I have issue with his minders because from the beginning, I've been issue of the organizing the local government election is flawed. Everything about it. And that's why people are reacting like that. We ought to participate. Let there be fairness. See what happened in other parts of the country when you disobey law or you don't go according to the law. People will resist it. But that is why we say, no, don't go that way.
But shouldn't we have anticipated, beyond Rivers State?
Yes.
Let's look generally at local government elections across Nigeria.
Wait, please. Look at what happened in Akwa Ibom State. See the process, the long time I followed it. From a long time, they prepared from the primaries to the this thing. Every step, the Akwa Ibom State electoral body prepared, follow the law to conduct the election. Did you see violence here?
Yet the former governor of the state and current speaker, Senate President, is AJ. He wasn't impressed. He wasn't happy with the turn of events.
He will not impress. He will not be impressed, rather, because what is obtainable in our society today in Nigeria is whoever the state, the ruling party in any state, will definitely win all the elections.
But doesn't that also vindicate the suggestion that it is not actually an election? That it is basically the fact that it is whoever the governor ordains to be local government council chairman, but just covered with the charade
Yes,
of an election.
that is what is happening, and that's why we want to.
So
I want to appeal to the National
when
Assembly.
can we have credible, transparent local government elections? Because the local government,
INEC,
being the third tier of government, is the closest
to
the people. So if that third tier of government cannot have an election that the people can relate to as transparent and credible, then what is the essence?
No, that is why we are appealing. I want to plead with the National Assembly to expedite action on the bill that INEC should conduct local government election. At least there will be some element of fairness, of freeness in the election compared to what we see today. Or the practice.
But this is an INEC that largely is this. Most Nigerians don't trust. There's a whole lot of distrust when it comes to INEC.
Nigerians don't
look
trust
at what
a lot
happened
of things.
in
Moreover,
Edo
under
State.
this APC, they don't trust a lot of, not only the INEC, everything they don't trust.
So how credible again would it look?
But it will be better, believe you me, it will be better than what we see today. It will be better than what we see today. At least the elections that were conducted by INEC before they amended the law and the state electoral body started conducting elections, you see the difference if you study it properly. That is the truth. So INEC, as bad as they are, will do better than what we are seeing today.
Does INEC have the capacity?
They do. They've done it before. I think when the former minister, the former governor, the present minister of FCC contested the election, his local government election, it was conducted by INEC. It was conducted by INEC. So that is just it. So it will even put pressure on the governors to perform, because if you don't perform, it will be difficult for a party to win. Just like now, it's just like a coronation that we experience in local government elections. That is the difference. We have had the experience. We have compared and contrast the both and see that no matter, just like they will say, the worst democracy is better than the best military regime. That is what will happen. The worst election, local government election conducted by INEC, will be better than the best election conducted by these state electoral bodies.
Despite the fact that, yes, you are advocating that INEC should be the one to conduct local government election, there is still a lot of distrust, even at the local government level. Recently, we've seen reactions from labor, organized labor, suggesting that salaries of workers at the local government level should not even be handed over to the council, but should be paid directly from the federation account. Doesn't that in itself suggest that the entire process or makeup of the third tier of government is flawed?
That is not just the entire makeup. You see, Nigeria has leadership problem, and that has snowballed into distrust between the citizenry and the leadership, between the leaders and the followers. So the leaders need to do a lot, go the extra mile to build the confidence of the citizens in government. That is the issue, not that. Because we have local government where we've seen the chairman perform. We see the chairman do well.
Well, of recent, there have been a lot of reactions on social media pointing to developments in Lagos State, where local government chairmen in Lagos State are commissioning major projects in their local government areas. And people are like, what's happening in the southeast? What's happening in the south-south? They should be able to replicate the same things that their counterparts in the southwest are doing in the south-south.
No, I agree with you, and that's why I still insist that INEC should conduct the election. Not just giving local government autonomy financially. They should be given that autonomy that INEC should conduct the election. It will make them sit up. And then, definitely, when they know that INEC is conducting the election, it will even give voice to the workers. Because when they don't do well, they have the right, because they know that the governor cannot impose it on them. They can go and tell their dependent, don't vote this chairman, no, it's not paying us, so this chairman is not doing well. Oh. And INEC is conducting the election. Some of them will lose. But this one, he cannot go and say that, because the governor will just announce him, will just coronate him, do the coronation ceremony, just like they did on Sunday, on a Sunday. swearing in local government
Does it
chairman on
matter
Sunday.
whether it is a Sunday or not?
Well, to some extent, it matters. Will a document signed on official document signed on a Sunday be effective? It's a weekend following Nigeria's this thing. You ought to swear them in between Monday and Friday. That is what is recognized. If you sign a document on Sunday or Saturday, I can go to court and say this document might be fraudulent. You will know this.
Okay, we don't have much of time. You've suggested that you've advocated an appeal to the National Assembly to expedite action on the bill that will empower INEC to conduct local government elections. That's on one side. Fortunately, you're from Rivers State.
Yes.
So, what would be the way forward? How do we get everyone out of this debacle, this quagmire, as it were, that we find ourselves?
You see, I would say that the governor should retrace his step.
Counsel the elections.
Not retrace his step and follow what the law says. If it means, because election was not conducted, I just told you it was coronation. I have my people, family members, they went, they didn't even go with result sheets. They didn't even go with result sheets. Places they went, they managed to go. They didn't go with result sheets. And you see the governor people come out and say, the former governor is behaving like God, this is that, he wants to stop election. Let me ask them. I'm a Christian. And the Bible said in in Psalms 82:6, that we are a little lower than, we are gods. So it's fulfilling scripture. If the former governor
is behaving like a god,
is behaving like a god,
like
as they claim, then it's fulfilling scripture. But having said that, let me ask this question. Which politician that is not behaving like God? One politician that is not behaving like God. I'll give you an example.
Some would say Peter Obi.
Peter Obi. Now, before we started this program, you told me some people are complaining about the person that made the party popular, which I agree with you. Make it popular. So they must have reason for saying that it's not it's not fit to take the presidential ticket again. We've seen that. So I want one person. I was just talking with somebody. I told them the Bauchi State governor that went to support anti-party in Rivers State. When they conducted Congress in Bauchi State, we have Senator Ningi from there, PDP senator. Ask him, did he give any slot to Senator Ningi? He usurped everything, the whole structure in the state. So what are you coming to say Wike is behaving like God? All of them are behaving like gods. So they shouldn't come and point an accusing finger. And as a Christian, I've told you, it's fulfilling scripture. If I thought you want to look it from that angle, and if you want to look it from the other angle, all of them are behaving like God. So they don't have that moral right to accuse him that he's behaving like God. No.
So in all of this, to conclude this conversation,
yes, please.
Are you exempting the FCT minister?
No. See, I'm not saying that. Exempting him from what? It's part also that is going in Rivers State. Remember, Mao said, politics is war without bloodshed. And it's politics that is going on in Rivers State.
But we've lost lives.
And I think the former deputy publicity secretary of PDP has said it, that is the presidential ambition of Atiku that is fueling the crisis in Rivers State. He has said that. So there are a lot of politics behind what is happening in Rivers State that people don't see, and they'll just blame the FCT minister is behaving like God, the FCT minister is thinking his control. No, the way forward is the governor should do the right thing, and there will be peace. As simple as that.
Well, mate, we're going to discuss these other political activities behind the scenes behind the scenes in Rivers State on another edition of KORERO, because the whole essence of having this conversation is to be able to peel the onion, so to say, so that we can see what's inside and then be able to come up with workable solutions as to how to move Rivers State, Nigeria as a whole forward. Well, to wrap up today's edition of the show, for more than 1 year now, the numerous difficulties confronting Rivers State, similar to the rest of the country, are deteriorating because those who ought to provide leadership, as my guest had rightly said, are fighting over control of public resources and political structure as things stand. The people are ultimate losers in all of this, from whichever way you look at it. As former President Jonathan had pointed out, this crisis has serious national security consequences. You could tell from the video we saw where a young man was carrying an AK-47 with several, cartridges. It just tells you the state of affairs. Rivers remains one of the most strategic states in our nation. It is the cosmopolitan headquarters of the nation's oil and gas industry. It is additionally home to the country's second most important sea access and marine economy. Tragically, with a beset governor and in the absence of a functioning law-making arm of government, a complete breakdown of law and order is not too far away. We do not accept that any of the parties to the crisis in Rivers State is acting in pursuit of public good. I beg to be corrected. However, there ought to be a limit to negligible politics and, brigade. As a former governor, I expect that the F-15 minister should create the right climate for his successor to be able to achieve more success. Because like the wise ones have said, success is not success without a successor with success. Additionally, Fubara cannot keep on directing the issues of government in scorn of the state legislature, the engine room of democracy. Well, the Supreme Court has made local governments juicy with the decision granting financial autonomy to the local government. It is therefore not unexpected to see political gladiators fight tooth and nail to emerge victorious in local government elections. Unlike national elections conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, different political parties get to win elections to the National Assembly, House of Assembly, and even governorship. Local government elections are usually a one ruling party affair. The governor dictates to the state electoral body everything as it relates to local government election. Well, little wonder that the governor of Rivers State appears to speak for the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission much more than the Rivers State Electoral Commission chairman. The media is also not paying enough attention to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, which ought to be independent of the governor and in charge of the process. The state electoral body must secure their independence and be completely divorced or isolated from the influence of governors. It is important to begin a proper interrogation of the capacity, transparency, and neutrality of state electoral bodies. Where it is not possible to guarantee the independence of the state electoral bodies, then there is no point allowing puppets of the state government to continue to just announce names of local government chairmen without conducting any transparent or credible elections. The current judicial remedies available for complaints over local government elections are also ineffective. The tribunals are mostly set up by state governments, and government loyalists are chosen to man the tribunals. Since this power was given to state governments in 1999, we have not witnessed any serious local government election tribunal. I can't remember even one local government election tribunal that has set aside or nullified or found any wrong with any local government election. This shows no serious judicial audit is done after local government elections. These are all areas that are by themselves screaming for urgent reforms. So, State House of Assembly, National Assembly, it's time to sit up. Well, that's how we sum up this edition of the show. I am Nkamiang John, the beloved, also known as the controversial. Special thanks to my guest, Walmate, for making our time. Please, we will have this a sequel to this conversation, but this time looking at the scenes behind the scenes in the crisis and political tussle in Rivers State. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, a special thank you goes to you for allowing us to be a part of your morning. Remember, the conversation continues online even after the show goes off the air. Until we'll come your way with another incisive edition of the show, it's bye from us.